So today in the session, I will be giving you about a brief about BIW fundamentals, what we follow in industry. Okay. So I want this session to be interactive. Sorry to not sorry, Surya, because I want
Oh,
these
no
people to
problem. If you're
understand
if
more.
you're fine with being interactive, that's fine. I just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure
yeah,
you're fine with it. Yes, please.
yeah. Because I want to understand, like you guys onto the same track, or you have their different opinions. Okay. So this is about me, and I'm glad that I'm taking this session. So before starting, I just want to know, like, what kind of crowd we have it here. Is like all are from college, or all are working professional, or if somebody can help me out with this.
Yeah. So let's do this, folks. If you can in the chat box, let us know if you are either currently in your third, fourth year degree, first, second, third, or fourth year in mechanical or automotive engineering. Say first year mechanical, second year mechanical, third mechanical, fourth year mechanical. If not, if you are currently working in the industry, say 2 years experience design, 3 years experience automotive. Yeah, and if you're searching for a job, just say graduated in any.
Great. So I have seen. I got my answer. It's like most of them are from college. Okay. So great. So perfect. What is your understanding, like, guys? Is what's your understanding in BIW when we call BIW? What is your understanding till date? I have to check chat every time, right? Body in white, yes. But what does that mean? Designing a car. Okay. So I think we can't unmute people's, right? Sorry.
Yes, Sumit. So there are so many people.
Yeah. Okay.
It will kind of create a noise.
Okay. Perfect. So, okay, I believe the understanding of you is like all of you are having a similar kind of saying skeleton of a vehicle for some body frame. So one person had given a good answer is Wazid Farooq. Is body in white is the stage in automotive manufacturing in which a car body frame has been joined together. That is before painting and before the motors. Is a very good answer. Like this is the answer what I am expecting. So guys, BIW is nothing but it's a skeleton of not skeleton, it's a sheet metal components of vehicle, okay, which is been assembled, joined together. So before that, this is the outline of today session. Is like we will be having first going with introduction, then classification, then BIW subsystems, key components, assembly process, type of joining process, total overview, and queries. So this is the sequence in which we have to follow our session of the day. Okay. So yes, somebody told like BIW is a skeleton which used before painting. So we call that process a CED process. Okay. So what is CED? It's a cathode electronic deposition process. Okay. So in which we dip our entire skeleton or entire sheet metal part of the body. We call it a monocoque structure because after this we assemble all the engines and the other components. So in engine also we have sheet metal, but we can't we are not calling them as a BIW component. Why? Because when we dip these component all together with the skin panel, I have just deleted the skin panel over here. With the skin panel all together, we call it BIW. So BIW is a complete assembled body shell ready for painting. Okay. BIW is made of metal parts, mostly steel sheet metal part. And in the very expensive car, we have aluminum cast brackets and the other things also. Okay. Hope you guys are clear with the BIW introduction. So when we call about BIW, we have divided it into three main segments. What are those? That is underbody platform, where our chassis, engine, everything is getting mounted. Even the seats of the car, the fuel tank, everything is been mounted. That is also been divided into three subunits: engine room, cabin floor where the seats are there, and the rear floor where the second seat and the third seats are being kept. That is the underbody. Okay. And we call it engine room, and in cabin room and the rear floor zone we have our fuel tank, which I will explain you in the latest slides how it has been placed and how it has been there. Okay. Then we have upper body where we have cabin above the floor or whatever we have. We have in there A pillar, we have B pillar, we have C pillar, we have D pillar, we have roof structure. Everything is coming into upper body category. Then we have closer. Why we call it closer? Anything which gets closed is closer. Okay. So we have hood, it is opening and closing. Yes, it's a closer. We have doors, which is opening and closing. Yes, we do call it closer. We have even fuel trunk, which opens, okay, and closes. It's closer. So all the things which opens and close, we call it closer. In that, there is one component which is fender, okay, which doesn't close. But the thing with fender is doesn't weld also with the components. Okay, it's always getting bolted, and it doesn't have any safety regulations in the car. Okay, it's just a style feature, and it has some requirements based on the functionality, but it comes into closer department. Okay, so any doubt till here you guys have?
Yes, if you have any questions in this slide or in the previous slide that Sumit spoke about, please ask in the chat box. Okay, I think there are no questions. Arthya asked what tailgate or liftgate is.
Yeah, I will explain you those things
Sure.
till. Okay,
Great. So hood, ABC, pillars, all those things will be explained in the
explain. Yes,
upcoming slides. Yes.
there is some issue with my presenting. Okay. Okay, so what is upper body, what is closures, and what is underbody? So this is the area which has been divided into the VIW, as I told you in the previous slide, it has been divided into these three areas. So what is upper body? This shell of the body, which have body side outer, A pillar inside. This is the B pillar. We have C pillar. I will show you what is C pillar, what is D pillar, everything. This is the roof of the vehicle. Okay. Similarly, closers, hood, this component in closer. Okay, this component in the closer call as fender. Okay, front door, rear door, hood. Okay, front door, rear door, tailgate. Okay, we have fuel trunk also. Okay, fuel lid. Okay, so these things are closer. In upper body, what we have hood, sorry, roof, body side outer. It is the main styling component, and this is the biggest component in automotive vehicle. Okay, whenever somebody will ask you what is the biggest component, the body side outer. But in this also there is a lot of engineering, like this segment of the car is coming into frontal crash. Okay, this segment of the car is coming into side crash, and this is coming into no crash zone. Okay, so sometimes what we do in vehicle, we just have a two component joining together to make a BSO. Why? Because in some area we need more strength, and in some area we don't need more strength. So in that perspective, we just break these components also sometimes. In Honda, in Duster, if you will see, it has been divided into two. In Honda, it is divided into three segments. Okay, so this is a kind of design strategy what company used to make to understand, because in automotive we have a number of regulations that is and we follow NCAP, new car assessment program. In that we have country wise regulation. We have 10 country regulations over there, which has USA, Japan, Canada, India, okay, China, uh, Australia, New Zealand together, then Korean, and then European, and then Asian, consist of all this. So this is again a different topic, but consisting considering all these country regulations, we used to design all our these components. So in crash, the most important aspect is underbody. So our underbody is fully designed for the crash. Okay, because it have all the feature. It have front seat here, rear seat here. Okay, it have engine compartment in this zone. Okay, it have fuel tank under this small zone, under this zone. We have a spare wheels coming inside this. If we have a third wheel, third seat, it will be coming here. So spare wheel, if there is a third seat, the spare will not come in this area, it will come bottom of the car. We have the axle mounted in the bottom side of this area. We have exhaust going through from the center of the tunnel, which I will explain you in the later slides. Okay, and then this area we have axle, we have engine, we have transmission, AC unit, everything whatever you see in the car, in these blocks are being mounted in underbody. So this is the biggest robust zone of the vehicle. What is upper body? it's the second robust zone of the vehicle, and the area which is not very much strong, it's the closer. Okay, so altogether when we weights all the thing, it comes around 1000, the entire weight of the vehicle is something 1300 kgs. Okay, if I'll say a normal SUV car, where this all combined together gives you around 400 to 500 kgs. Okay, and then rest of the components are different. Okay, clear? Okay, so till now guys, you are clear with the thing, or you have any doubt?
If you have any questions, please let us know in the chat box with respect to upper body closures or underbody. Okay, looks like they are clear, Sumit.
Okay, great. So this is how we do our this is our BIW subsystem. Then talking about the key components in upper body. So when we are talking, like somebody have asked me what is A pillar, what is B pillar, what is C pillar, D pillar. So here, if you can see a complete bigger picture of in a bigger MPV vehicle. Okay, so A pillar is the pillar which we have it here. Okay, we have B pillar here, we have C pillar here, and we have D pillar here. So all together we call it a vehicle will having a around D 4 pillars in the vehicles. Can anyone say me why we need pillars in vehicles?
Type it in the chat box. The question is why do we need pillars in vehicles?
Stability, somebody said, yeah. Support, yes. What else? To sustain load. Okay, very good. So yes, actually these pillars are very much required for the strength and stability. At the same time, we use it for having a very good stiffness throughout the vehicle. Okay, as we know, for these zones we need we have a door. Okay, so this all are the very it's a vacant areas. Okay, where the loads are like if we consider the torsional stiffness of the vehicle, how that someone tell me what is torsional stiffness? And carry load paths. Okay, for carrying upper aluminum, carbon, steel. No, we are not using those kind of till now.
So the question is what is torsional stiffness, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Puneet Kumar is strength to resist shear force, degree to resist torsion.
Okay. So okay, so I believe like all you have your own understanding on this, and I'm not saying anything is wrong in here. It's correct, but you have to I will just show you an example. Okay, just we will consider a piece of paper. If we are going to rotate it with this axis, it is all easily rotatable, right? Okay, so but if we make it a frame outside the suppose just take a consider a frame, picture frame. If we only twist the paper inside the picture frame, it can easily rotatable. But if we take the frame and we will try to twist it, it won't, because we had provided a stiffness throughout the boundaries. Okay, so what stiffness? And okay, you will say why, how it is important in car? Because when we have a car, okay, suppose this is a car with 4 wheels. Okay, when we are driving in a twisting area, like it's in a it's kind of curving. So what will happen? We have two forces acting on it, in one in here, one in here. So if we won't provide this kind of pillar, what will happen? Stronger pillars, what will happen? These areas will become slightly deformed. Okay, and the vehicle will become unstable, as because we don't have a good torsional stiffness in the vehicle. So to provide strength in the vehicle, and to provide a very good stiffness, torsional stiffness, which enhances the vehicle dynamics and the vehicle performance, we have to use this kind of stiffness pillars in the vehicle. Okay, for MPV we need 4, because we have a bigger zone from C to D, which is unavoidable, which we can't avoid. But when we have sedan, from here it goes down like this. In this we don't need it, because the height over here is not much. Okay, so we only use C pillar, up to C pillar. When we have hatchback, we sometimes don't need a C pillar also, we just manages with A and B pillar. Okay, so this is how the pillar designs takes place in the vehicle. All clear? Or anyone have any doubt in pillars? These are all the components in a vehicle. So this is the A pillar, This is the B pillar, component 2. This is the C pillar, component 3. And D pillar, we don't have it here. I can show it in here. Okay. Rear quadra panel is this panel. Okay. We have it in here and here. Inside quadra panel will be there inside this panel. And this is the BSO, body side inner, outer. Okay. And this is the part which reinforce it from the inside. It have rear quarter panel. Okay. 7 is the roof structure, this one. Then roof bows is here. We have it here, here, front, middle, rear. And this also depends on the length of the car. If the length of the car is huge, okay, if the roof is huge, then we have to divide it more. Okay, again the factor is same, torsional stiffness, and the roof is not welded with the vehicle. It is sometimes welded, laser welded, and in this area it has to be mastic with the reinforcements what we have it in here. Okay, so we need more roof reinforcers in this part of the vehicle. Then we have cantrail. Okay, this is the cantrail. Okay, you can see it in here. Okay, we have rear wheelhouse. Okay, that is somewhere here inside, because here wheel housing we call it, because inside this only the wheel movement will be there and the suspension also will be mounted in here. Okay, then we have rear drain channel, which is used to drop the water whenever it's coming, it's raining suppose, and all the waters are coming down here, all because the vehicle is moving, all due to the aerodynamic, all the water will be coming, and it should not enter into passenger compartment. So we have this rain drip channel we used inside the vehicle, so it will collect all the water and it will go down from the sides. It will not come inside the passenger zone. Okay, and then we have a combi light lamp panel. So in this lamp panel, other than this, we have a big cutout which we call it a body exhaust, a car body exhaust. Okay, we have two kind of exhaust. One is the exhaust which is coming from the engine. One is inside volume inside the volume of cabin passenger. We have one more exhaust. Okay, can anyone say like why we need this exhaust?
Sorry, Smith, I think they are answering that in the chat box, Smith. Go ahead.
HVAC, somebody have told dampening, somebody have to remove the CO2. I'm not saying it from the exhaust, I'm saying it's from the body volume. Okay, ventilation, like a ventilation, very good. Which type of coating used for cars to withstand environmental condition? Okay, Raju Yedulapalli, I will answer you this question after the session when we are answering all the questions. Because of ventilation, to remove heat, to release the pressure. Yes, then Akash Chaudhary who answered, yes, this is the answer what I'm expecting. To release the pressure inside. Okay, suppose we have a closed structure, closed packed chamber. Okay, and if we have a very good ceilings and all, the air will not come out, and suppose when air conditioning is going on, everything is going on, so whenever we close the door, okay, as the air come inside, this is so much huge, it won't allow us the door to get closed. Okay, because it will reflect, but due to that we have this kind of small exhaust inside the vehicle which releases this airs. Okay, and doesn't create this huge pressure for the doors to get locked. Okay, so this is the reason. And again, second reason is we have to recirculate the air inside the car. One is with the air conditioning we are doing, another is with this kind of exhaust, so that the PM particulate matter inside the car should not be huge. Okay, so this is the reason why we use it. So Akshay, you are right. Okay, so this is about upper body. If anyone have any doubt related to upper body, they can ask, and then we will switch to closers. Clear? Material of upper body. Okay, torsional stiffness and material of what is cantrail. Okay, can't get what you said about second exhaust. Okay, okay, so we will answer one by one. Surya, can you help me with the questions sequence? Okay, so
Sure.
first, sorry to involve you.
No problem.
Okay. So material of upper body is very important aspect. Okay, so what we have to understand is like what kind of purpose this upper body solves. Okay, so we in vehicle mostly we use steel. Okay, so in steel we have lot of grades with we call it lesser yield grade and higher yield grade. Okay, so lesser is something around 200 to 220 MPa and higher is around 880 MPa. Okay, we use this kind of steels in the car. But now what is important is like if roof, if suppose we consider roof is not coming in any crash requirement. Okay, no crash requirement comes under roof. There is something coming for 2022, for that we are considering, but that is again for the pillars, not for the roof. Okay, so for roof we always go for the lower yield steel. Okay, but if you will see a pillar, b pillar, okay, so these components are directly coming under side impact test. Okay, so in side impact test and the pole impact test, this component are directly coming into play. So we can't use 220 to 220 because the yield the crash pulse what is getting generated, it's more than 220, it's around 350 to 400. So what we do in this area, we try to use something around 600 MPa steel. Okay, and that also there is a catch. Okay, the crash occurs only in this part of the vehicle. Okay, up to this zone of the vehicle. Okay, so what we do, we make a laser welding for b pillar. Okay, so what we will do, suppose this is the b pillar of the car. Okay, so what we do, till here we will use 600 MPa. Okay, or higher thickness, and above this we will use again 200 to 300 MPa. Okay, why we use this? Because this is a very expensive steel. Okay, so if we use it throughout the component, it will make it expensive part. Okay, so what we do, we just do it like we just trim the part into two components. Second, for 600 MPa, forming is a challenge. Okay, forming is kind of a manufacturing process to give a sheet to this form. Okay, so this is again a different subject altogether. For this, what we used to do, we do hot stamping. Okay, hot stamping is something in which we take the steel into crystallization temperature, something around 800 centigrade. We heat it and then we form it. So again, if we'll do it for a bigger component, the part getting colder is more time. It will take more time. Okay, and for this small component, it will take lesser time. So that is also one of the reason we go with two kind of stiffness in this area. All clear? So that is again how we select the steel here. BSO is a part which doesn't help in the crash. Okay, so we used again the lesser yield, but cantrell is a component inside. Okay, cantrell is a component which is inside this area, which is with the aerodynamic of the car we use it. I think this is also one of the questions somebody is asked, what is cantrell and why you use it. So if I share a whiteboard, yeah, can you see my like whiteboard?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So suppose this is the car. Okay, somebody asked me what is cantrell. Okay, so for that, sorry, sketch. Okay, so suppose this is the car. Okay, okay, so we know our driver is sitting here, right? This is the position of the driver sitting in here in the seat. Okay, suppose this is the position. Suppose any crash is happening from the front. So this cantrail, before it was something like this in the previous if you see old cars, these are not much aerodynamic. So nowadays the car become more aerodynamic. Okay, just to take the load air in a very well manner, so that the downward force will be good, the lift force will be good, there won't be any drag force, lesser drag force, so that the efficiency will enhance. Okay, so then, but what is the challenge in this kind of thing? If you will see this structure, whenever the crash will happen, the driver head is well safe from the top, from the here and from here. Okay, it's nowhere near to the these kind of pillars. But now what happened when we had this aerodynamical consideration, what we did, we brought this pillar near to the driver's head zone. Okay, so now this player have to be very much strength there, because if the crash should happen, it should not come in here. So what we do in this area, we make a program deformation. Suppose a deformation is happening whenever the crash is occurring and the deformation is coming in here, we make our crash in such a way that deformation will always happen in this direction, means this will break in this manner, not in this manner. Okay, that's why we call it here a program deformation. So we give a crack, and whatever load will come, the crack will always come in this area. Okay, so cantrail, why we use cantrail? To this is a one ribbon which takes vehicle from front to the end. And why is it in this shape now? Because to consider, as we are considering aerodynamic structure, so this have to be here, okay, in here, and the glasses will be also coming and resting on the cantrail pad. So I hope your doubt for cantrail is done. So there is one more question someone have asked me, that is regarding, okay, we build up a body with 3D printer, will it have more strength? But what material you are using? Again, it's a very expensive and time taking process.
One thought process is, since there will be questions
Yeah.
parallel to the topic that you also teach, what we can
Mhm.
do is, for those kind of questions, we can keep it at the end so that
Okay.
your flow kind of goes by.
Okay, sure. Because I want them to get clear in every area, like
Yeah,
upper
yeah,
body.
no,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. So for the questions that they have about the topics that you teach,
Yeah, that I am
so
answering.
yeah,
If they are questioning something apart from the topic, guys, please make it sure, like we'll be doing in the end of the session, so that I can answer you in very well manner. Okay. So right now, if I'm asking you some question, try to answer in that way, in that zone only. Okay. So I hope upper body question thing is clear with you. Then we have underbody, sorry, closers. As I have told you, the components which are getting closed are closer, but we have a separate part which is fender. Why fender is not inside upper body and underbody? Because it is a part which is not been welded into the car. It has always been bolted into the car. Okay, so underbody zone altogether, it comes as a weld component. Upper body comes as a weld component. Then they will fit all this component inside the car. That's why we call all these closers. Okay, same applies for fender, but it doesn't open and closes. It always gets closed. It never get opens. If we want to open, then that is a different criteria. So this is the component. Hood bonnet assembly, we call this hood. Second is lateral door and front door. That is this one, the frontal door. This is the rear door. Fourth one is the trunk fuel door or trunk lid, we call it. Okay, sorry, fuel lid we call it. Trunk we call for doors, tailgate. Okay, and then fender is the fifth one. The balloon got missed. Okay, so this is about fender. Somebody have asked me. I have just seen in the questionnaire, somebody is asking what is FMVSS for hood. Okay, so first you have to understand what is FMVSS. It's a United States law for the crash. Okay, for hood, yes, we have pedestrian head impact, but it have different consideration. US is the only country which don't have a head impact initially, but now they have to integrate it. Okay, so that is something different. Okay, so these are the components. Whenever we design our doors, we have to take a lot of thing into consideration, because we always open and closes the door. Okay, so we, whenever we design and when we test, so we closes the door like a lakh times. 1,08,000 is the cycle time for a door to open and close. Okay, similarly it is for the rear door. This is not for 1 lakh, it is for some 64,000 and 48,000 times. This is how the testing for the doors have been done. So in this testing, what we see, the doors should not get bended, it not get deteriorated, it should not bend, it should not deteriorate, and it should not break anywhere. Okay, with this 1,08,000 cycles. So this is what kind of test we do for the doors. The similar kind of test we do for hood, but the numbers are not huge, like 1 lakh. It is around 30,000 or 40,000 for some of the regulations. Okay, because we open doors more frequently than the hood. Okay, in this also we have primary lock, secondary lock. Okay, so anyone know what is secondary lock and why we use it? No, this is not related to child lock. Suppose you are driving, if we have a secondary lock, if whoever driving a car, they might be knowing, like when we open a bonnet, it won't open full. Okay, it will just, the primary lock will be unengaged, and the secondary lock is always a manual lock. It should not be automatic or it's a motored one. Why? Because suppose you are driving in a speed of 120 kmph. Okay, suppose you are driving your car in a high speed. Okay, and all the aerodynamic effect is acting in here, and suddenly by mistake you triggered your hand on this latch area for the hood. So this will, all due to the air effect, it will open like this. Okay, so it will open. So what will happen? You will have a this like your visionary will be getting affected, and you may crash in the your vehicle somewhere. So all due to this reason, we always have a secondary lock in here, which is only accessible by the hands. Okay, so suppose you are driving in a high speed and your by accident your hood, the primary lock get disengaged. This will not open, it will still be intact. Okay, but you will feel some vibrations in this area, which will alarm you that okay, this area is, nowadays we have a digital cluster which shows okay, your bonnet primary lock is open. Okay, so that you can open. Okay, that is the only reason why we have still a manual locking in this area, not a electronic locking for any kind of car. Okay, that is what why we use hood like in that purpose. Second is like all the closer components, the components are not a very they are not into lot of crash regulations. Okay, we have some regulation related to pedestrian impact, but not related to high crash, like kind of we call like the load absorbing and all. But that is for hood. Fender also doesn't absorb any load. Hood also doesn't absorb any load. But with hood, what we have, we again, as I explained you about the cantrail, okay, how the deformation happens. In hood also, what we do, we give a program deformation, so that whenever the impact will happen, the program deformation will be like this. Okay, so that this complete hood assembly should not bend and go into this passenger zone. Okay, suppose this is okay, suppose this is my car. Okay, this is my car and this is my hood. Okay, so if suppose the crash will happen, and with any pulse, if this goes back in here and hit the windshield and all, or go inside, but what we do as a designer, we give a compulse zone in here, so that whenever the crash happen and this engage, it will not break everything on the vehicle of the hood. Okay, these areas and all. So what it will do, it will break in this area as we planned that deformation as a designer. Okay, so hood will absorb whatever energy it will have, it will be there, it will absorb and it will break in here, so that the load will not be transferred from here to another, any other part of the hood. Okay, so that it won't go back and hit anywhere of the zone, and it won't absorb the load, then all the load will be absorbed by the underbody. Okay, so that is the second area where you will see a program deformation in the vehicle. Okay, who in doors we have for frontal crash, because as we know the load is traveling from here front. Okay, I will color it from with different color. Okay, yellow. Suppose the load is coming like this, and from here it has to transfer in all part of the vehicle. Okay, we have B pillar here. Okay, we have A pillar here, we have cantrail here, and we have the bottom sill here. Okay, so when the load is coming, the first point of contact is from this area, the side member, and this side member from the center, it takes it till the rear of the car. But from here, from the side end of the car, it transfer it from here top, from here it goes down, and from A pillar to B pillar we have one skirt, we call it skirt or stiffener rod in the door, okay, inside somewhere here. Okay, what it do it, like it takes all the energy and transfer it to B pillar, and from B pillar we have the same kind of rod in here which transfer it from B pillar to C pillar. So that is how the load is being transferred from front to the end of the cart with the help of this kind of designs. Okay, similarly we will be having one more rod we call is G bar, okay, or anti intrusion beam. So it is also like this in here, so that whenever the impact is coming from the front, all the load will be going in front A pillar and the B pillar of the car, okay, not inside the passenger area. So that is how this door panels comes into play. Rear gate, tailgate is important. Now we have lot of crash regulations coming for rear also. China and USA have a rear crash with 80 kmph speed. Okay, so in that area also the criterias are this should not break and go inside. Okay, so that the designs are very much robust in these areas. Okay, so this is all about the closer assembly. If anyone have any doubt related to closer, can ask me now. Only related to closer. Somebody is asking which type of sensors used for to know close and open of the door. It's a touch sensor and the impact sensors we have it. Okay, and that is on and off sensor. It's not a huge sensor, and it's a very less cost sensors. Okay, no doubt. What is fender? I have already explained you what is fender. This component we call it fender. So you want to know more about fender? Okay, so the fender, okay, see why the fender is bolted, because in underbody, okay, if you can see, okay, so this is the skeleton of the bottom skeleton of the body. Okay, this will come and then upper body will come, and then fender is been mounted half in here and half in underbody. It is bolted in here as well and in upper body as well. So we can't bring that fender with any of this component. Okay, so that's the reason we can't weld it with some area, so that we have to weld it in again different area. So we put this fender always as a bolted object. And the second thing is, whenever the crash happens, this fender gets deformed very easily. If it will be welded, it is very expensive. It's an expensive process to repair it. But if it is bolted, you can easily unbolt it and you can repair it. Okay, and third thing is, it is not a load carrying object. Okay, only purpose of this fender is for styling and for the wheel aperture, like wheel should come in and come out. That is the only thing we need it for fender. Okay, so we don't need it to be very constrained, a lot of constrained manner. We don't need it, so we don't need any welding and all in here. It's just a one component. We even don't have fender reinforcement. For hood we have a hood reinforcer inside. For door also we have a door reinforcement inside. Tailgate also we have a reinforcer, but for fender we don't have a reinforcer. Even for trunks also we have a all, because this we don't need any statical stiffness of this component. We don't need any internal stiffener or internal components in this area. Okay, so I guess it is clear what could be the generic design tolerance limit for these parts. So tolerance of these parts are, again, for the surface tolerance we always use not more than 0.5 mm. Okay, for the edge tolerance it should not be more than 0.1 mm. Okay, for the holes and all, it is, we have a general tolerance for all the kind of hole standards. Okay, so only for surface and the lines, I have already told you what is the tolerance level we maintain. Okay, which previous picture? We don't have rear side fender in car. Okay, so fuel door, it's a component, like we have this fuel door with a inner reinforcement and the hinge assembly. We always have a positive locking in here, which locks and unlocks with the sensor. So the gap and flush at the fuel lead is very much important, because if the gap and flush is not been maintained, it is virtually it can be visible with any of the customer or any defects in this area, or any like any different sizing or different flushing in this area. So this area is very much critical. Second important aspect in fuel door is like it should always flush with the outer panel, so that the aerodynamical drag should not affect this zone. Okay, so that is the reason this is a very important aspect of the car. Okay, the water should not get stuck here, because we have unprotected zone inside which get rusted if it is not well designed. Okay, so this is how. So what is gap and flush? I can explain you those area. Okay, suppose this is door. Okay, it's a BSO, and this is a fuel trunk. Okay, so we always maintain a negative flush. What is negative flush of 0.5 mm? Means this body side outer component will be in higher side in the, and this one is always in the negative side, so that whenever the water comes from here, it should not enter in here. From here it goes and here it comes out. So it is sometime also tilted in this manner, this one. Okay, so how it is been from here minus 0.5, and here it is plus 0.5. Okay, sorry, 0.5, so that whatever the water comes from here comes here and goes here. Okay, so this is, sometimes we always maintain 0 type of flush, but that is not possible. So we always keep a tolerance of 0 to minus 0.5, 0.5. Okay, not more than that. That is the tolerance limit we maintain in this kind of zones. So this is all about closures. So we will move to our next area, that is underbody. Okay, anyone, if anyone have any doubt, they can ask me, or we'll move to the next area. We have any question? Crystal clear, thank you. I will answer these kinds of questions later after the training has been done. Okay, forces, act on closures. Okay, what it's the aerodynamical forces acts on the closer while moving, when the component is moving. When we have a when we are closing the component, we have a force, the like closing force and opening for closing efforts. Okay, when we drop our like hood from when we unlock it and drop, those are the forces acting on closures, those kind. And the in static condition, these are the forces, and when in dynamic condition, aerodynamic is the only thing. And sometimes if it rains, those are the forces which is acting on closures. Defining fender, you showed one diagram. Okay, okay, we have been talking about underbody. So this is the main area of vehicle, which is not related to the styling of the vehicle, which is related to the performance of the vehicle. Okay, why? Because all the crash loads have to be absorbed from in underbody. Okay, and all the things like the vehicle, the seat mounting also is in the underbody. Okay, so related to any safety, all the, even the steering wheels, everything is been mounted in underbody part of the car. And it is the only component, it is the only area which have more number of component than any of the other areas. Okay, it have something somewhere around 120 to 140 components, where in others it's have 60 to 70 component in like upper body, and 40 to 50 component in closer. Okay, but in underbody we have 120 to 140 components. Okay, so there are huge components and a huge parts also which is being used in underbody. So I have just shown like for what all are the 15 areas. We have shotgun, which is here, which comes from a pillar. Okay, which takes the load which takes the load to the side of the vehicles. Okay, the bot like this area, the front, this area, front wheel house and the bottom traverse member. This takes the load to the bottom part of the vehicle, and shotgun takes the load to the sides of the vehicle. Okay. Second is front wheel housing. Okay, this is the front wheel housing. Below this we have our wheels. Okay. Third is a suspension tower. Okay, shock tower we call it in automotive also, so that all the load will be, this is a very robust area, because lot of loads of the suspension will be coming on this area. Fourth is dash and firewall, that is this area which you can see. So dash is the one of the biggest component in underbody, because it have lot of mountings. It have mountings for your CCB, is like cross carbine, where all your dashboard, your steering column, everything will be bolted. Steering is been bolted to a pillar, and then inside in the dashboard, all your like brake booster, pedals, everything will be, it is mounted in like CCB, and the passing is been gone through dash panel. Okay, steering passing is also going through dash panel. It is also a heat chamber, heat shield, because it won't allow the heat coming from engine to the compartment zone. Okay, it also have our refrigeration unit coming into from here and mounted in here. Okay, so that is all about dash panel. Coil tap panel is here, where we used to the coil top panel is here. Yes, because it is also the water box area, and coil top we call it because the like the windshield has been placed in this area. Okay, and even the whatever water is coming from the windshield is getting collected in here and going out of the vehicle. Okay, so this is all about cowl top. This is how the water flows out of the vehicle. We have a hole over here, so that the water will be coming out from the bottom outside of the car. Okay, so sixth part is the floor assembly. Floor assembly doesn't have any loads, so we put it in a very lesser thickness of 0.6 mm. It always only carry the load of leg and other things. Otherwise all the load will be taken by this member, cross member, where the seat is been welded. Okay, so this is a stiff area, this one is a stiff area, and this side is a stiff area, and in between where we using our sheet panel, those are not a very much higher stiffener, stiff area. Okay, so this is about floor assembly. Center floor is also here. Rear floor is somewhere here. Okay, this one. Okay, here we used to put our okay, first I will clear. Okay, this is the central floor zone. Okay, this one, this is the rear floor zone. Okay, so this even protect the fuel tank from the top. Okay, and this one have spare wheel inside the vehicle. Okay, so we have both kind of provision inside the car, so that whenever the fuel should not come inside the cabin compartment zone, and this wheel, and in for this wheel there are two types of provisions. It sometimes it comes inside the car, and sometimes it comes bottom part of the car. Okay, that depends. If we have suppose you will take examples of duster and all, we don't have it in here, we have it in the bottom part of the area. But if you will take any sedan car, we have it inside in here. In hatchback cars also we have it, in sometimes we have it for SUVs also. Okay, so that is again a strategy for a companies, like how they want to provide and where they want to provide the spare wheels. Okay, so floor cross members are these kind of members where our sheet is getting bolted. So seat is getting bolted in here, that is for the left seat. Okay, here and here, that is for the right seat, and here from this zone to this zone, this is for the rear seat bench. Okay, this is how the seat is been mounted. We have a time constraint, so I can't show you exactly where and where, so I'll show you later. Okay, floor tunnel. Why we have a floor tunnel? So that the 4x4 rod and 4 like shaft, drive shaft, can pass it from here. At the same time, for 4x2 the exhaust, in 4x4 drive shaft as well as the exhaust line should pass from here, and 4x2, like two-wheel drive, this will pass only the exhaust line. Okay, so that is why we have this tunnel over here. Okay, then we have a kicker panel here. Because why we call it a kicker panel? Because below this, after this, we have a fuel tank or the battery in the new generation car. We put it in here, and the leg should not go below this, behind this zone. Okay, that's why we keep it as, we say, is a kick-off panel. Okay, so that the leg of the rear passenger should not go below this line. Okay, so that is about this zone. Then we have sill panel, that are the two stronger line of uh, stiffener going from the side component of the car, like this one and that side also. It travels from here to up to the end of the car. Okay, cab ring panel is again the same one here, what I have explained you. Rear apron is one where the tailgate comes and get fitted. Okay, so it we have that apron, so where the lock of the tail there is been getting engaged. Okay, and then front and rear seat support member. So for seat, we used to have the support members, so for that we have one extra brackets in those areas. Okay, so that is all about components in BIW. So till now, if you have any doubts, I'm happy to clear you, and then we will go to the different zone. Okay, that is how the assembly process has been done and how the other. So till now, if you have any question, you can ask. Yes, powertrain comes under underbody. Do design changes according to material? Yes, it does change. Explain on tailgate and liftgate. That is already considered, explained. Clear. Okay, great. Yes, it's a huge area, BIW. So yes. Okay. Somebody have asked me about shotgun. Okay, define and rear apron. Okay, so what is shotgun? Suppose if I will, okay, you can see my whiteboard. Can somebody answer? So suppose this is the structure of the car. Okay, so this is two cross members of the car. Okay, which is going till the rear end of the vehicle. Okay, so this is the center part of the vehicle. Okay, suppose I am explaining in that way. Okay, so this is about the center load. So this is the first part which takes all the load from the impact from the front. Okay, it even have the engine mounted in these two blocks also only. So what, the underbody is fully designed as per the for the crash, but upper body doesn't is not been designed more into crash. So but it should also absorb the energy. So what we have done, we have used a second member. Okay, which will also absorb the crash once this fills up to this area. Okay, then only this member will start absorbing. Okay, so when the second absorbing area, we call it shotgun. Okay, so if I'll explain in here, so you can see this golden part from where it's starting. Okay, so this is, okay, from here the second load impact will be absorbed, and that will be absorbed to upper body. Okay, center area and the side of the car. But this one, these golden areas, this will absorb the first load of the impact. Okay, and will transfer to this till this areas in the center way. This goes from bottom till here. Okay, so this shotgun is here is to deliver the force from here to the top of the car, to the bottom of the car, and to the center of the car. That is why we use this shotgun. Okay, second is apron. What is apron is like, it is a rear filler in this area. Suppose here we don't have any apron, but in here we have an apron. Okay, what will happen, you whenever you will open your tailgate, you will see one panel. Okay, in which there is a gap where the latch is there. okay, which will get hooked with the tailgate. Okay, so that latch should get locked, okay, with this area. So for that purpose we use a rear apron. Okay, I hope it is clear. The one who have asked about shotgun and fender, sorry, apron. Okay, clear. So kick panel. Okay, so you guys are making me revise all this area. Okay. Okay, kick panel is the one. Okay, suppose here if I'll take a section in this area, so this is the our base plate of the car, and this is the kick panel. I will explain in here. Okay, so suppose this is the base, okay, and this is the kick panel, and this is how it goes in the rent. Our seat is been placed something like this, okay, and the leg is coming here in this way. Okay, so this is how the leg is been placed. Okay, so if a person leg is going below this zone somewhere, suppose the kick panel is not messing with it and it will be here, so what will happen, the person leg can struck and he can fall coming out of the vehicle. So for that reason what we do, we just have a kick panel in here so that the person leg will not go behind this line. Okay, this is the brief explanation of kick panel, so that the whenever it will kick, it won't go behind this. It's a human physics we have to understand. Okay, so this is a person should not fall when he is coming out of the car. This doesn't happen for the front passenger, because in front passenger we have lot of space. Okay, for the rear passenger we have some space constraint. Okay, for that reason we used to provide this kind of provision. Okay, that's the reason we call it kick panel. Somebody have asked me about dash area, right? So dash is something like this is the dash. Okay, all the AC, suppose these are the other rod. Okay, this is the steering going inside the dash. This is, so all the heat panel, no heat should come inside this. Even whatever the load or pointing things, it should not make this dash deform in such a way that it will damage the passenger. So dash is, that's why is a very important aspect, and it is very well reinforced in all the areas, so that the dash intrusion is the car will be minimal. Okay, it should not be high, it should be always minimal. Okay, that is about all this area. So that's it about component of the cars. Okay, I don't have individual pictures right now. Okay, so now is we have to understand how is the assembly process inside a company. Okay, like how it is been done. So one area is our body assembly, which I will explain you how it has been done. But before body assembly, all our component is been made from out of sheet metal. Okay, so this is the sequence how a car is been made inside the factory. First a sheet metal will be coming, okay, and it will be getting stamped inside the in the press shop. Okay, then that components have been is going to body assembly shop, where we used to weld it all together so to make an assembly. Okay, then this will call as a body in white components, then it will go to paint department. Okay, where it will get painted. Then trims and chassis area will be coming. Okay, where all the plastic trims will be fitted into the vehicle. Plastic trims, seat, and all things are been fitted into the vehicles. Okay, then TNC chassis, where the bottom chassis parts, the axles and all parts are been bolted together, joined together, and it is also been tested in this zone. How the suspension testing, the rolling testing, those kind of tests, not for all the vehicle, for all the vehicle we will be having that test. And we have separate in one stock, we'll take out some of the vehicle and we have a rig test also. Okay, we have a small test rig where we will test the vehicle the first go. Then we have an inspection area where we will inspect with a lot of quality inspectors, which will see all the smaller defects. If there is any paint defect, so or any dent on any of the panel, the car will get rejected. It will not be getting shipped. Okay, So it should clear all these zones to get shipped. Okay, so this is how the car is being made. First stamping, then the body assembly where all the components will be bolted and welded, then paint. After the paint, all the supplied parts like glass, okay, the windows fitments and all, the chair seats, the plastic component, mats, roof mats, everything will be fitted. Okay, then TNC where the chassis, the engine parts are being fitted, then the inspection, and then the car is gone for shipping. Okay, this is the sequence for the car to be manufactured. But in the weld shop, how it is been divided, as I have already told you, the component of the car is been divided into three areas. One is underbody, second is closer, and third is upper body. Okay, so in underbody, we have three areas, as I've told you. Front area, engine compartment area, if you remember, I have explained in you in here. Engine room, cabin floor, and the rear floor. Okay, so this is how the assembly looks. Okay, so this is the engine area. So this is the complete assembly, and these are the sub assembly which will get welded together to make this. This is the cabin area for the front. This is how it is all together and welded to make this. Then this is the rear floor, how it has been welded, a skeleton and the surface all together. So this all together, one, two, three combined to make a complete underbody. Okay, then we have body side. Okay, that is with body side outer, body side inner panel, then quadricore panel. All together when we assemble, we make a body side outer assembly for the side, and for the right side is different. Roof all together will make an assembly. Okay, and then the tail all together we will make one assembly. Okay, so all when will fit, it is coming up to this skeleton zone. Okay, till this skeleton zone. First is front unit. This is the example of Renault Logi in which I have worked. So this is how the front unit will come, then the front and middle, then the rear floor, then with the side panel. If you want, I can, sorry, zoom this area. Then the sides, how it is been used. This area is been welded in here, and this reinforcement will is been welded. Okay, all together. Then the roof is been bolted or welded, whatever it is. Okay, and then all the closures coming. So in hood also we have small component, hood outer, hood inner, and the reinforcements for the latch and the hinges. Okay, for door, if you will see front door, we have anti-intrusion beam, skirts, front beam, outer panel, sash type panel, inner panel. All together we make a body door outer. Okay, similarly we do the trunk lead with the outer panel and the inner panel reinforcer with all the hinge reinforcement and the latch reinforcement. So all together when we complete our BIW, from here it goes up to here, the assembly occurs in this progress. So any doubt in these two assembly sequence, anyone? I will explain you about the welding process in upcoming slides. Maybe tomorrow, not today. Yes, I will explain you about hemming also. Anyone have any question related to these two assembly area? Clear? All clear? Okay, great. So chassis fitted in TNC chassis. Okay. Chassis, you mean the engine and complete engine, suspension, axle all together will be fitted in TNC. Yes, first one is engine. Fuel tank comes in this zone. Okay, in the rear floor, as I have explained, in the this zone of the vehicle is where the fuel tank is been bolted. Okay, here under the front of this area. Okay, I can explain in here also, in this zone. Okay, this outlet which you see, a small hole in here, that is for the fuel pump. Okay, so that you can like service your fuel pump if there is any issue. No, BIW contains all the sheet metal parts before painting. This is all BIW components till here. Okay, and this has been like painted, and then sometimes it is getting dismantled. All the doors will be getting dismantled, and they have to fit a lot of things inside the door. So after the paint, they dismantle it, and then TNC they will assemble it again. Okay, so software, we use a lot of software. NX, like depends on company. What company is using? Some company use NX, some company use Katia, some company use SolidWorks. So it depends on company. So this is all about assembly process. So I will show you some of the videos related to part and manufacturing and assembly process, and then rest of the things we will be discussing on tomorrow maybe. Okay. You can see my screen, guys. Can someone confirm? Okay, you can see the video running YouTube. Okay, great. So if you can see, this is a complete car. As I have explained you, these are all the Class A surfaces in the area, which is being given by a styling team to us, from which we extract the complete car. Okay, roof panel, body side panel, fender panel, hood inner panel, and the other areas. Okay, tailgate panel, front door panel. Okay, front door inner panel is also there. Okay, can you hear any music? No, right? I can't. I too can't hear you. Hello. I think I don't have access to music. I can't play the music.
How can I help?
I don't know, but when I'm playing, before it have a sound, but now I can't get the sound.
I don't think you can share sound from your screen on Zoom. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Yes. Share sound option is there. Yeah. Thank you, sure. Now, people, can you hear it? Okay,
There's
leave
no
it alone.
sound.
There is no
We
sound,
can
right?
only see the video.
Okay, leave it then. I think there are some audio issue I have to deal with my mics and all. Okay, there is no such informatic sound in here. It's just a music to entertain you guys. Okay, so again, these are the areas, like as I have explained you. So you can go through with this video also, which will say this is again where the spare will be there. These are the shock tower, front side rails, okay, which absorb all the load and transfer it to back of side of the vehicle. Tunnel, which takes the load from the and the same time it have a envelope for our exhaust passing and the drive shaft passing. Okay, so this is all the components. It's a rear shock tower, rear sheet panel, okay, heel board or the kick-off wall, what we have explained. Dash cross member is for the dash reinforcement. Okay, rear back panel is for the sedan cars. Most of the time we have it. We don't have it for our hatchback. And this one. Okay, so this rear back panel we have it for apron also. Okay, and in the sedan car, if you behind the seat we have one panel area also, that is also be said as rear back panel. Okay, so this is all about the components you can see inside the car. Okay, this is upper body. Okay, B pillar inner. B pillar is again, I have as I have explained you, it has been also used. We cut the part and we use it for two variants. D pillar, how it is been used. C pillar outer. Side sill, that is for the side crash things and all. Okay, closers. These are the complete range for inside enforcement. This is a window frame. At the same time, sash frame also. Door waste beam is used to send the energy from here to at the back also. Okay, anti-intrusion. It's for the side crash. We use this part. Okay. Crash management system. This rear bumper and front bumper are being used for some heavy related crash, okay, or pedestrian bumper. Some country have some strict regulation. Suppose Europe and US have R car related concerns. So for R car, if the car is hitting with the speed of 10 kmph, none of the area should be affected unless only this part should get affected. Okay, for that we use these bumpers in the front and the rear. These are the steel bumpers which comes be after the plastic bumper and the absorbers inside the car. This is the cross car beam which holds everything like the steering, the pedals, AC, air conditioning areas, everything of the car is been like in the dashboard, everything whatever you see is been assembled in this cross car beam. Okay, but that is not a battery boxes is in this underbody central area below the car unit, below the underbody unit, the sheet unit. Okay, So we used to produce. This is how the painting process is been done. Okay, this is all about the parts. Okay, the manufacturing process is this. So this is how the stamping is been happening inside the car for the part components. Okay. So this is the tool, punch and die, which we use in the industry. Okay. To make a component, inside this we'll put small sheets and we'll get our formed component. Okay. You can see they have loaded the sheet metal inside this sheet, and this die. Okay, so this is the die, how it is been working. All the load is been acting on the component and it forms the component. I was telling you guys about this, so you can see how the BSO looks. Okay. So if you see, it's the first strike of the BSO. So in BSO we generally have two strikes, one first strike, one the second strike, and then we have piercing operation, then we have trimming operation. Okay, from here how the product is being made, all the trimming and the restriking is being done. Okay, this is how the roof after first forming. Okay, this is how the sheet metal is been formed. Okay. So this is all related to the manufacturing, how it has been done in automotive, and this is the assembly process video.
Good grammar and spelling are important, but if you want to write essays that inspire, messages that forge brighter connections, and
car doors have come a long way over the last century.
So you guys can see this car door video, how the manufacturing is been done. I'll mute the video. Okay, I will mute the video. Okay, so guys, can you see my video of the car door, how it's made car door?
Yes, sir.
Someone? Okay, great. Okay, so you can see this. I have just kept one PPT, one video for this, how it has been made. Okay, the car door. So it's from the rolled sheet. It has been cut in as a component, and see how it has been kept inside the tool, and this is how it will be formed. Okay, so this is the first draw, it has been made. Okay, you can see. Okay, now two LH and RH has been divided into and it's been cut. They have separated it with the trim operation, and now they have all the forming piercing operation they will be performing in this. Okay, so we have now both doors, LH and RH doors. So the quality inspector is inspecting all the roughness and all, they will say. So this is how they will do. This is the window frame, the top frame. This is the front reinforcement where the hinge and all will be fitted. This is the rear inner panel of the door assembly. Okay, and this is how they are welding it. This is a spot robotic welding process. We even have a manual process of welding also. This is an anti-intrusion beam, and this is the upper vest. Okay, that is used to transfer the load from front to the end of the car. Okay, and then they will put this. Again, it's a robotic welding. This is how the arc weld, this spot welding they are doing for the components. Okay, this is the mastic provision, adhesive provision, how they are providing. Okay, for hemming operation. Now the outer panel of the door and the inner panel of the door, it is not been getted welded, it is been attached together, adhesive. Why it is not getting welded? Because after the weld it always leaves a mark. Okay, which is not acceptable by customer, by visible. They should not see any welding marks on this kind of A surfaces. So that's the only reason we used to do adhesive, we used to provide adhesive, okay, in these areas, because and even though adhesive is an expensive process, but all because it have a visionary impact in the card, and the customer directly can see it, okay. We used to provide this kind of adhesives in the card, okay. Okay, so you can see this is how the assembly for all the BIW component is been done in the door panel, and this is how the TNC of doors, how everything is been fitted, okay. So this is how the handlebar is been fitted. This is the chrome fittings at the top. This is how the windows are being fitted, okay. So you will see the inner plastic IP and all other things, glasses, how it is all been fitted together. You can see it in this video. Okay, this is the rail for the windows to move. This will be moving in this way only. This is a side mirror. Side mirror sometimes be fitted in the body, okay. This is the complete IP mixed with soft and hard plastic. Again, it's a different area. And how they are testing the functionality of the windows and all. And this is how the door assembly has been completed. Okay. And door assembly is also getting fitted in TNC of the car. Okay, after the paint, the door assembly comes out of the car, and after this, all the seat and all the dashboards, everything is been fitted. They assemble these doors in the car. Clear? This is how they do hood, and this is their what they are checking is the gap and flush. So the gap and flush should be all equal. Okay, they are checking this. It should not have any impact. Okay, so this is the complete tour of how it has been made. Okay, so one last video I will be playing for today is like animation of body and white assembly, how it is been done. Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, yes, you can see. Okay, so this is how all the component is been assembled. Okay, this is only the rear area, this is the front area. This member is only the member which is transferring all the loads. It's for the sedan car, looks like a sedan car, yes, because they have a separate member in here. Okay, that is only been used in the sedan car. This is all the components which are being used in BIW, BSO, roof members and all. It's a bottom tray kind of things where we used to keep our spare components and all. So this is a very expensive unit of the car, expensive car. Okay, it's something like Bentley or Alpine. So they are using different kind of more members. It's a Aston Martin, sorry. So they are using different members inside the car, okay, which is not been used like here. Okay, this is not, this enhances more torsional stiffness because the vehicle have more dynamics and the higher speed. Okay, so it should not get deteriorated. That's why they have more stiffener agent in this area. Sometimes they use different materials in these zones. They use more yield component, like sometimes they use magnesium, sometimes they use aluminum with alloyed casted aluminum also. Okay, so all together they used to make this kind of zones. So that's it for today.